Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing a very interesting list that I found browsing around on Untapped. It was played by what I believe was a Japanese player, so I don't actually have the name because fortunately I do not understand Japanese and it was named that way. But this is Mardu Bounce and we're going to be playing it here today. The kind of idea around it is to take the strong Orzhov shell that we've seen in like best of 3 do well and add some red cards to it, which is quite interesting. And one card in here that I'm not entirely sure that I've read a ton is Thunder of Unity. You draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life, which is pretty good when you can bounce it, put it back in your hand, and you have a card like Sissel to flip with it. But whenever a creature you control enters, the opponent loses 1 life and we gain life, and that works really well with like Cosmic Grant and Sage of the Skies, making a lot of creatures. Or, we're just bouncing a lot of things. So we have a lot of creatures under this, we pick it back up, a lot of creatures come in, and then you replay it and things like that. You do a lot of drain gain there. And then we have Quintorius Cond, or that's how you say the name. But it's basically to discover 4 and do 2 cast for all of our other cards like that. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and dive right into the games. Alright, our opponent wasn't quite ready, so we're tuning in after we already kept. But we're going to play this. We're going to name Swamp here. And the reason why is so it turns on these verges for their red and white type. So that our mana is a lot more flexible. This is already on white, and I think red is not necessarily a highly demanded color. We only really need it once a turn. As you can see, I think my opponent might be distracted doing something. Pay attention to me. Oh, that's a brutal draw. I mean, it's a fine draw, but like, just weird, I guess. Let's go into this. Let's play some Momentum Break. The next turn, you draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. Whenever a creature you control enters this turn, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Alright, cool. Good way to drain them out when we get kind of there to that later game. This is all they play. We can definitely pick up this Momentum Break and then just reestablish it back down. Obviously, we don't really want to barrel this into the board right now, because if we do, that'd be bad news bears for us. Let's just take 2, draw 2, and then let you go unanswered for a couple of turns. Seems bad to me. Our opponent is now timing out. Okay, let's make picked up. We're gonna now play it. I like our plan changes it all. This is honestly great. We always love when the burn spell goes towards a creature instead of us. Obviously, they got to get the 2/2 out of the way. Probably might have a slick shot or something you want to clear the way for. Screaming Nemesis, a good answer. But we're just gonna do the same thing to them pretty much. This is when this deck's at its best, and quite frankly it's most annoying, right? When it's just picking up the same thing over and over again and playing it over and over again, causing a lot of problems. We established a pretty decent board here. Blue. The Viper version, the one that like pings and drains and stuff. Who's to know? Who is to know? Get a full pass here. I don't want to play this, and then I want to go for this because I can even just play it and then tick it up to make a creature to start draining. Maybe not super thrilled with that. Let's play this tapped. Turns on our other verge, so all of our lands should be turned on for the most part. I was just like, other than this one, I was like, wait, that's a passage. It's never turned on. We're just gonna hold the fort back. It could reanimate or animate or make the soulstone permanently into a creature, and I'd like to have blockers for that. Exactly what they go for. This one might block it. Honestly, it might even get to the point where we like let it hit me if Sissel seems like it's going to live this turn, and the reason for that is so we can hit them and then flip it. But it doesn't seem like we're going to get there. We'll block. Protect their life total at all costs here. Kind of ran into some lands, so obviously we're feeling a bit worse. Now I can just guarantee answer this. That seems we got this in our deck, dude. We're playing it. If they spell pierce it, then they spell pierce it with 1 blue land. You know what I mean? Cover 4.
When the fight's over, I have some questions for you.
Guaranteed to hit something.
What a novel discovery.
Okay. At least we gain that life back. Nice. Grinding it out right now. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. A couple more lands. Ain't never hurt nobody. It's hurting me a lot, actually. So many lanes. At 15, I do feel like safe, but oh, even better. I feel way better. Obviously, I'd love for that to have stayed around, but can we make a creature here? Play another land, I'd be a lot more surprised. Yes. Do I have enough for all this? 1, 2, 3, 1. Oh boy. Hitting these lands, I told you it was fine. Do a double drain again. That Screaming Nemesis never triggered earlier, so we do this. We now make 2 creatures. We now drain and gain them for 4. Then we just blade them. They just get bladed. Now we play another one. Drew a lot of cards. We had a lot going for us, so you know. Now hopefully we can find like another con or maybe another Unity or something. But overall, it was a pretty good turn, I think. Another Pixie would be fine. Another way to bounce like one of these cards back to our hand and pick it back up. There's the Viper that we thought they were playing the blue for. They just splash it to do the return, which they're short on mana now because we took away their Sanctuary. But see, we could have maybe held the blade and just like chump blocked. So if we found another spell, I felt like clearing the board was pretty good. Pinnacle's also fine, weirdly enough. Because put each exile card, make it 2/2, which isn't that bad, right? That's 2. I think I just hold it though. I don't think I'm in any danger right now. We pause. Oh, I could craft with this. It would have to craft with the other one, right? Or can it do a creature? Is it craft with the artifact or creature? Beginning upkeep, each opponent loses 2 life. Craft with creature, yes. I could technically do it with one of the pixies. They attack, we're like fine, right? And this is just a gain life one. Oh, I mean, I think we're doing it. There are 2 3s with lifelink, right? So cool. Always Sage. 2 3s with lifelink and flying. This doesn't have Sorrel, right? Right. That's the other one. 2 lands hit for them. Obviously, that's not that great. They Witchstalker Frenzied or 1 creature. Felt like Witchstalker would have been their draw earlier. But here we have no reason to hold back. We're 100% attacking each chance of Fable. And we're not even going to play this guy, to be honest with you. We're just going to do the Pinnacle. And they don't get haste, so we weren't really worried about it. Get to make 3 2/2s. Pinnacle is one of those weird cards where it will happen at instant speed. But little did we think we were going to activate Pinnacle to make enough creatures for lethal anytime today. We get there. Very cool. What a way for that game to turn out. Our deck kind of did its thing against an aggro deck. Arguably one of the best versions of aggro, although maybe not best of one. This is the Viper version, as you can tell. This is more to target the VV decks because this card's awkwardly hard for Vivi to beat because they don't want to remove this, nor can they really remove it well. But yeah, we'll take it. Based how the game is gone, seems like fine. We'll keep. Play the Verge out first. Play, well, I guess. Then we can name something here. Feels fine, especially if I feel like I'm gonna have to shock it in anyway. Put on turn 2 if I don't necessarily have to. I'm not going to. Never know really what our opponent is. If we shock this in and play Sissel and they go Mountain, Higher Claw, we're feeling like that we're giving away the game a little bit. Maybe it's Vivi. Maybe. So I don't know of them playing Surveillance very often, but how many turn 1 plays that they like to do. Good thing we didn't play it, because now we're going to have to probably use it as red for this. We have a Pinnacle to answer like Cauldrons and stuff. That's what we're truly against. That is what we're against. Fortunately, our Pinnacle does not answer Profs. That's if I'm going to shock and land in it. I'm going to make it this one. That's well, all the draining gaining we can do. Exert this will flip, weirdly enough. And I think, yeah, because we can actually play this, which is weird. Vivi. I have an answer for Vivi. No, I really don't. Which is quite insane. Maybe they'll block, I guess. No, we'll see. Flip. Fortunately, do not have the answer. Cosmo here. And gain. Play Sissel here. And Sissel's on the front side this way. Should be fine. Alright, can you cast 12 spells? You probably can, to be quite honest, but okay. They already played a land, so oh, 2 lands. Weirdly enough, is it bad that I feel more confident if a VV is hard casted over the version of being put in the graveyard? I'm like way more scared if it's in the graveyard. Most of the time, once we can get through combat, we're actually okay. It's when they get this really large and then have like a second combat or something with that you get kind of scared. Now they have 1 mana available. Whenever a creature enters, things happen. So what we're going to do, we're going to cast this. I know that seems weird. Are you sure you want to cast this? Yes, I'm aware. The legendary rule. We're just doing this for a Cosmogran. Keep here. Also, the draining gain's pretty good. Here. So already trigger, and then we'll make 2 more 1/1s. I guess counters across would have been better, but yeah, so we see a Flood Maul come through, that's fine. More draining gains. Down to 7 you go. +1/0 on everything. And just like that, we somehow beat Vivi, which we never would typically think we have a chance against. But the pressure was on, and Vivi got resolved. But I think that right there is kind of one of the things we talk about when it's like, how strong is this deck truly? And how strong is this guy? Which is incredibly strong. Don't get me wrong. He's incredibly strong. It's just the weird part of when he gets put in a graveyard and exiled under a cauldron, he feels so much more broken than just being like played on turn 3, because that takes their entire turn 3. And if you remove it, then it's like, okay, we took your entire turn 3 away from you. Now what do you do? I'll play Cauldron and then exile it and then kill you. And you're like, oh, okay. But in this case, if we had removal for it and they didn't have Cauldron available, we'd have felt perfectly fine, right? It's a weird hand to be like, yeah, we can keep. But I don't think we can. Too much red. Every card other than this one's red. We got the Maul. much better, I think. Although the red still being an issue. We'll keep here, and honestly, recruiter can just go. That name planes. Unlock the rest of our hand. Blue white might be the hardest kind of matchup without like momentum break online, but we'll see. Yeah, even this isn't turned on, but obviously the swamp does that for us. Nice. Nice. Dude, I've been there, bro. I get it. I get it fully. Land to my right. 100%, brother. Go for 2. Momentum break. We could have went for Cosmic Grant, but I figured worst case scenario, they hit the 4th Verge and then Day of Judgment me. Yeah, we're there. Enchantment, they could get lost it, I guess. Which, I've always wondered if that's like a horrible idea. But it's probably not great. They use their mana efficiently here. Or will they hope for a board wipe? Rides in. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Wonder what they had that they were holding up the 3 white for. Oh, jeez. The lands. The betrayal. Team rip. They got rid of 1, so they had a second one. I would assume the blue white land's obviously what they drew. I can't imagine they would have made any other play. Cosmic Grant or not. Seems like a time to establish it, right? If they get lost it, they get lost it. Cast Pixie, but I don't think that's worth. If we could have got through that turn to go into an appraiser, obviously we'd be fist pumping. That's a pretty good land to find, though. Oh, Elspeth. All right.
Join the fight.
Elspeth seems like a hard card for us to try to answer at any given point here. This just hits one of their tokens and just doesn't feel that great. Ooh, we beat the Elspeth. Not gonna lie, I wasn't queued up into answering Elspeth. Maybe I should have went more aggressive. Maybe I should have went momentum break into Pixie again. Instead of the Cosmic Grant, maybe they would have answered Pixie. Do River Regent, they had enough blue for that. They get rid of the 4th Verge. Nice. Still not online. Crazy. 7 it goes. Creature sack after creature sack. Not going to be enough. Weirdly gotta go here, maybe? Here? 1, 2, 3. I guess there's a chance. Our only out is probably to pick this up and try to outdraw them here. Even though it doesn't feel like an awesome play for us. Again, just zeros here, get some everything. Consult. They were able to kick it as well. You have a blade to answer one of these creatures, so if they give it flying, we might be able to somehow pick them off. Put 1 counter, put 1. Yeah. Do that. Okay. Planes, their lands are turned on. Congratulations, sir. Worked very hard for those lands to be turned on. Super late in the game. Steps ahead, sure. We map or appraiser here? I'm gonna go for the appraiser. Alright, kind of hit the blade anyway, I guess. Then I'm not really willing to trade these like that, so we'll just wait, I guess. Thunder of Unity was our out for the most part, but it doesn't seem like we're gonna get there. We're probably gonna get out grinded now. Yeah, just double back to back consult star charts. Taking the best of the top 6 and then the top 8. Finding a 3 steps ahead. Maybe another consult was their grab. They have 4 mana. They do have this. Start sacking tokens if they really want to play that route. Which honestly, yeah, I'd be a little bit more inclined to be doing if I was them. Day 0 again, we're pretty happy because we might be able to get through with the map tokens. Oh, they're making it fishes and then doing it? Yeah, that makes it a lot harder, obviously. Just not entirely sure I have a way to answer this Elspeth, dude. These land draws are not doing it. That's it for us, Chief. I just don't think we can beat this Elspeth. So I'm going to move on instead of sitting here wasting time to see if I can find an answer for that. Alright. Well, good starter. We have all of our mana, which obviously feels great. I don't have to necessarily shock right away. I shouldn't. Maybe mono blue. Blue white. Blue white, boo. Good combat. Do here. Oh, artifacts. Can we beat artifacts? Why do I feel like I keep playing against decks that just like aren't real right now? Artifacts is a real deck, but I feel like I haven't seen it in forever. It's just weird to have it just immediately show up all of a sudden. Flash send. Not wasting anybody's time here. I haven't played against artifacts in a while because I've typically been able playing decks that are like really good at beating it. Now I'm playing this like slow, grindy deck, and it's like, all right, well, good luck. All right, sure, I guess. One top, one bottom. Here, let's play here. Just doing this because we know we have to be about as aggressive as possible against this match. Sure. I'd just be over just like that. 2, 3, 4. I mean, this game's over. I'm just moving on. I'm not wasting our time. All right, we go first here. We'll keep, I guess. Black, red. I mean, I don't really know what I want to name on this yet, so we'll just play that tapped and then hold that, I suppose. Blue, black, or mono blue? I don't really know. Let's go for a blade here. Sacrifice creature of their choice. Creature or vehicle. Mono blue, it seems. Alright. Here. Give them discard. They have a creature that has flash on it, most likely. Okay. What do I want here? White, white, white. I guess just play this tapped. Yeah, there's a drowner we thought was coming. Mono blue, huh? Not that big of a concern, I guess. Go black, I guess. We can go like Pixie here. It auto resolve, so we'll see. Momentum Breaker is the better of the two cards here. Cool. What about this one? We'll take that. They could have countered this ability, but they countered the Pixie one, which I totally get. It makes a lot of sense. I don't blame them for countering that. It just happened to work out that it kind of sucked for them. The countering that worked out this way. Combat. We need to gain life while attacking and being aggressive, so 100% in on that. Alright. Wasn't ready for that again. Considering they discarded one, but fair enough. Go Sissel now. We really need a way to pick that off. We're fine here, I think. Sure. Let's see. Sure. Okay. It could counter it, I guess, so we'll see. I also have a way to shuffle away, so. I don't have any berries, so is it better to Pinnacle here first, maybe? I think it's actually better to Pinnacle here. They have no fairies, right? Yeah. And Phantom doesn't really get us. They could obviously use one of these, but playing too many copies of that seems deranged to me. Comes the Blade. We take care of the board. Now if we just hit straight lands, we do have a play for that, which is this. Go to combat for 2. And I think against this match, we're okay with jamming this, because if it resolves, their best solution is to bounce it. Or tap it and like try to tuck it. With appraisers and stuff in our deck, or the Planeswalker, we're perfectly fine just sitting here. Or we get it. Very cool. Opponent goes first. Do we think we have time to get to Pinnacle? We have a lot of lower mana stuff in our deck. We don't have the red for this, though. I guess we have the Maul. We do this and we'll put this way. Green. I don't know if we get in there. We can try. On the play, this would be a fantastic matchup for us. Need to stall a bit, I guess. I guess playing a Blade doesn't make a difference here, right? I mean, it could make a difference if they just decide that they're attacking us. What is going on over here? Close then. Like, I don't know. I had a music playing and it just kept like playing for a second, then pausing, playing for a second, then pausing. And I'm just like, leave me alone. We get kind of what we thought, where we just think they were going to attack us. But I probably shouldn't waste my Pinnacle right now. Actually, would Pinnacle be a better solution? Pinnacle might actually be the better solution for just a Landware Elf. Saving the Momentum Breaker for bigger things. We can't necessarily answer right now. Seems like a weird solution, but... This is an artifact too, so it goes under Pinnacle. So if we do happen to, like... bounce this ever... Now, if they play like one big creature, go find a land. Okay. Fight mechanic's not going to work too well for me here. I don't know. Do I just like play a recruiter and start hitting them? Probably not, right? Just saving this for later, especially when we start doing this. Seems good. All right. Wouldn't overload too much on that. Maybe they're getting a way to give it hexproof, essentially. a really, I mean this in the best way, an incredible draw here. Momentum break. I think I said this earlier. I don't know if the match is still in. I said if I play against this like green deck, I feel pretty confident that we end up winning. If we can like not die to them just doing the thing super early, like Landware Elves into the 3-drop into like land, like we're obviously getting smoked there, but no more lands it seems. Could give it trample, and +3 would be bad. Is this way we're like guaranteed to hit something maybe? Alright, our opponent fully timed out, which is, you know, always exciting. Wasn't even like that bad.
Wonder what I'll find at this site. So
We did, wasn't even that impressive. Honestly, did I just bounce the walker back? Nah, it's probably momentum break, right? Please tap. Say go ahead. Unfortunate way to have the video end, I think, but it happens. We're playing this really awkward deck. I think mono green fits that description a bit as well right now. I mean, I had a fine time, but like my opponent left the game, so that's pretty whack, but I totally get it. I mean, having your creatures just get removed and maybe you had protection in hand and we just made it not matter. So that was more or less what I was meaning when I said I think we have a good matchup, is that we take any target protection spell away. Even indestructible doesn't work because you have to sacrifice that creature, and sacrifice gets around indestructible. It just feels weird. All right, so here we are with the list that we ripped from Untap. I just saw it and I was like, that list looks incredible. Not in the sake that it looks like the best deck I've ever played. It just took Orzhov and said, you know what, I'm jamming red. I like these cards. And honestly, it was pretty fun. I think this is obviously more of a fun deck than a competitive deck. I think there's too many good decks that can just beat us generically. I mean, we had a Planeswalker resolve against us and we just never found a way around it, which does happen. Sometimes your decks do have very bad weaknesses. That's why in best of 3 you have a sideboard, right? So play for the main form of the meta. Even control, like blue-white, typically doesn't actually play Planeswalkers. They just seem to like Elspeth a bit, which is, Elspeth's an awesome card. I understand that. I like Elspeth too. But it just was just one of those cards we couldn't really beat that well. Other than that, we are kind of talking about maybe a heavy craft. If you already have Orzhov, obviously it's not that big of a deal then when it comes to crafting this, because you're most likely going to already have this allotment of cards over here. You're most likely already going to have these. But this card, you're probably never playing outside of a deck like this, so that's kind of an awful craft. This card, you're probably not playing in a deck outside of this, even though it did really well for us today. This card actually clutched up a lot. It was pretty good, which was weird. But this is an uncommon, so we kind of throw it into the whatever category along with Recruiter. But you do have, this is kind of the things that you probably would already have if you've been playing Orzhov, or you're looking at 5 uncommons to craft. Weirdly enough, I don't think there's a single common in this deck. Yeah, or that's a common, I guess. The 4. We got the 4. But this isn't that bad, obviously. These most likely already have. And then if you've been playing Orzhov Balance, you probably already have these as well. If you were playing kind of the stock version, mana, we don't typically count because mana is always a thing I think you should focus on first. But it is a lot. Like, that is a lot of rares to not... Like, I'm not overlooking the mana here. This is a lot of rares. Typically, like, we have like 10 basics in blue-black and stuff like that. So the lands just like end up being like 12 rares. And if you're playing blue-black, it's pretty easy. But here, this is just so many shocks that it just are rares that it just makes it hard to be like, yeah, dude, the lands don't matter here. Yes, they do. We have 24 of them and 23 of them are rares. So it's pretty high cost over here. But these are the 6 to 8 cards that my recommending crafting would say no. If you like, if you're on the fence about this deck, definitely do not do it. It is not worth crafting these for. And if you were to play it, like, genuinely, I think you just go into public play instead of ranked. There's just too many decks to just beat straight up. So risking it on that doesn't necessarily seem very great. But as you can see, we had a lot of fun playing it though. It was pretty cool. I do think there's more fun options, but gotta try it to find out if it's fun or not, right? So that I hope you all enjoyed it anyway, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.